we are trying out something, and we don't realize something which has been explained in between. So I would suggest that please do not try out the steps side by side. Keep a notebook with you where you can keep writing the steps. You can in between take screenshots if you want, but please do not try it alongside. All right. If you want, I can give you some time in between to try it out. We'll see how the pace goes, and we'll see if we can do that. But please do not try it alongside. I can see a hand raised. Shweta ma'am, do you want to ask something right now? Can you please put your query in the chat? And if you've raised your hand by mistake, please put your hand down. So I'd like to continue here. Just give me a minute. I'll begin with what I want to show you. So, all right. So begin with the first thing that we want to do. Now, many of us would already have some quiz which is already on, let's say, Word or in some document. So let's say, begin with this quiz, which I already have on a Google Doc. All right. So the first thing is, I have this question. I already have, many of us have question papers which are already there. We have made some questions. Now, I am being a computer science. I know most of you would be non-computer science teachers, but I'm still putting up such a question paper because I'll have you randomly answer these questions. All right. So I just simply picked this up, which is part of some question paper of mine. All right. So I have these questions which are already there. Now, from this question, if I wish to create a Google quiz, all right. Now, there is a tool available over here. If we go to tools, if we go to an extension, there are add-on scripts, all right? We can go to an add-on, which we can use a get add-on, and it will provide me with some get add-ons like form builder. Okay, this gives me suggestions of some add-ons which I can use. For example, if I say form builder, here. So you have this form builder. You can see over here, there is a form builder, there's a form builder plus, and etc. Form builder is the basic one, which is free. This can directly convert your form into a Google Doc, into a Google form. But I am not, this is something which is not from a certified website. So I am not going for it because this is, as you can see, from Jibras Technologies. I am not sure of this. It is something which is popular. If you wish to use it, you can try it out. But for myself, today, what I will be doing, this is a very shortcut method. I use this form builder. You give it one document, it will automatically convert it into a form. But what I will do is not do this step. Instead, I will create my own Google form. All right. So to create my Google form, I have tried to do some of the steps already there and some of the steps which I will do along with you. All right. So I have from these, I have already created this computer science revision form. Okay, now here I am assuming, because all of us have gone through the COVID era, I am assuming that all of you have somewhere or the other used Google Forms already. This is an advanced version of, this is an advanced workshop beyond just creating Google Forms. Okay, because today I think anybody and everybody would have created Google Forms. In case you have not, you just have to explore. We know how we start creating a Google form by going to Drive. I go to New, and then from Forms, I can, I should find Google Forms here, and I can start creating a Google form. All right. So with that, I have already created this form. Whatever questions were there in my quiz, I have already, most of them, I have already copied them into this Google form. All right. So all these questions are there. Let me just pick up one more question to demonstrate what I'm doing. For example, I have this last question is based on location. And then, so this question is already there. The last question I'm going to copy. Okay. So now here I want to copy this. I'm trying to copy this question. So what I do is I can copy this question. I add a new question here. To add a new question, I use this toolbar over here. So I add a new question. Now this question has gone right in the beginning. If I want to go right in the end, so I don't want it here, I want it in the end, I'm deleting this question from here. I'll go to the end, come to this one. So let's say this is the last question that I've entered. I'm adding a new question here and I'm pasting. We know Control C, Control V, I hope, everybody. So I'm saying Dash is the most common used protocol for receiving email over the internet. All right. Now, when I have this question, I want the options also. I go back. Oops. I go back to my quiz and I copy all the options also. Again, I'm doing an alt tab. So here I am pasting all the options. So as you can see, the minute I pasted the options, it's created the 4 options over here. So like this, we can build our questions which are of objective type. That I'm hoping everybody knows how to do that we can just write a question and give all the options. Also, I hope we all know what is the difference between these circular ones and the square ones, the circular ones being radio buttons. That means I can I can take in only one option over here. The user is supposed to, the child or the student who's attempting this quiz will only select one of these options. Whereas when I have these square options, which are also called radio boxes, these will have multiple options. So in fact, let's say if I have multiple options over here, which I want to accept, I can change it from multiple choice to checkboxes. The minute I convert it to checkboxes, it will allow me to select multiple options over here. Okay. So I may want post office protocol as well as simple mail transfer protocol. In that case, I would want checkboxes. All right. So, but here I want the multiple choice one. All right. Now, once I have made these questions, now I have to go to the step of automating it. But just a minute. I already had this quiz in hand. And from that, I built this quiz. It could also be that I'm thinking and I'm making these questions. That's fine. But today, I'll teach you a little bit of cheating, a little bit of plagiarism. You'll say, my God, as a teacher, how can we do that? But also, in case you are an author, please understand these things can happen. So you need to be smart. If you are an author, you are creating a book, please be aware that these things will happen with your books. Okay. So what am I talking about? I am talking about if I had a question which is already there, all right? So what I did is I had a question bank in a book, and I'm showing you the image. I happily took a photograph of this, all right? I took a photograph of this. Then this is, as you can see, it's a WhatsApp image. So I took a photograph, I WhatsApped it to whatever. So now I have it on my WhatsApp. From WhatsApp, I transferred it into Google Drive. Do we know how to do that? Let's say I have something on WhatsApp, I download that image, that means it is in my downloads, all right? From my downloads, I can upload something into my Google Drive. I can either go over here and I can say new, and I can say file upload to upload the file from, if I say file upload, and it'll, I can go to downloads and I can copy my, I think somewhere this WhatsApp image is there. So as you can see, I can do this, or I can open Google Drive and the file explorer side by side and drag and drop. Okay, but for the simple step, I had this image, I have uploaded it. All right. So I have this image with me. Now what I will do over here is I do a right click and I transfer it, I open it with Google Docs. All right, I'm opening it with Google Doc, an image file. Remember, when I took a picture, it's an image file. I am opening it in Google Docs. And what do you see over here? You see over here, here is my image, and here is my smart AI in place, which has copied everything from the image into the document. There you are. I have all the questions which I can happily pick up from here and transfer into my quiz, or I mean, do whatever that I want with this. So as you can see, plagiarism again, or I am picking up stuff made by somebody else. I'm sorry to the author. What I have done is I've taken a picture and I have, or if you have a screenshot of something which you've seen on the net, I'm giving you all kinds of ideas. Today, our students are going to be smart enough to be all doing all that. I want my educators also to be very smart, all right? And understand that your students would also be doing this. If they find something on the internet, they won't even add something which is a PDF from which they cannot copy. They will take a screenshot. They will put it on the drive, transfer it like this into a document. Voila, you have the entire text copied. All right. Of course, as you can see, there will be some mistakes in it, or what it has done, this identifiers constant is come on the top line, but I have it with me. I can happily now copy this question into my quiz. All right. So like this, you can also copy and put anything which you want into your quiz. So if I have to make a quiz quickly, your HOD said, I want this quiz to be created by tomorrow. Create a quiz if you want to, great. Normally we should be creating something which is new, which is out of our minds. But if you are in a hurry and you need to do something very quickly, just pick up an image from somewhere, copy it, you have the text, transfer it immediately into, keep copying and pasting into your quiz. You have your quiz ready. All right. Now, the next step, as I said, was to make it automated. That means when the children attempt this quiz, they should be marked automatically. Now, to do this, what I need to do is I have to go into the settings. Are you able to see this? I need to make it bigger, right? All right. I'm trying to make it bigger so that you're able to see this clearly. So I go into the settings. The first option that you see is make this a quiz. All right. So I am making this into a quiz. Next question, it asks me immediately after each submission, should it release the grades? Now you may say, yeah, why not? But our smart kids, we have to be smarter, remember. So what do? We don't do it. We say later after manual review. Why? Because the first child who quickly does it, submits it, gets all the answers, and happily transfers it to everybody else on WhatsApp, on the group or whatever they have. And then everybody else gets full marks. All right. Did you get that? The minute I allow immediately after each submission, the first one to submit will get all the answers, the correct answers. All right. Because he will get, okay, this you did right, this you did wrong, etc. He will get all the answers. The child will transfer it to everybody else, and the rest of the children will get all the answers. And yay, your kids are doing so well. They're all getting full marks. So we be smarter. We don't submit. We don't allow them. Okay. So we don't allow them to get the results, the grades. Neelam, I am being muted again and again. Is there any issue? Sorry. I'm just checking the chat. Is there any issue?
Sorry, ma'am. Just some internet problem. It's fine now.
Okay, okay. All right. So, I'm continuing with this. So the first thing we did is we made this into a quiz. So this is a toggle button. It's an on and off. So I put it on. Yes, I want this as a quiz. And I'm saying later after manual review. We don't get into the locked mode. That is only possible on Chromebooks. So if your organization has Chromebooks, then you can use this option. And what it does is it does not allow the children to open the internet side by side. All right, because these Chromebooks are managed by the organization. Not at least in our school or in most of the places, at least I've seen, we don't have Chromebooks. All right. So next settings is missed questions. Respondents can see which questions were answered incorrectly. Yes, definitely. We want them to see that. We want them to see the correct answers. We want to see the values which they have got, how many marks. And we also have a default question point value. That means for each question, how many points do they get? Normally it's 1 point. If you want to change that, you can change it to 2 points or 3 points. When you open quiz for the first time, you might see it as 0. Please make sure it is set to 1 point. I have done it once, so that is why for me, it will always show 1 point. All right. So change this to 1 point. Otherwise, the child, whatever they may do, they will get a 0. And the kids won't like that. All right. So then we go to the responses part of it. So collect email addresses, verified, required to release grades manually. We do need to release, whenever we are doing release grades manually, which is this part of it. All right, release grades manually. We do need to verify the email IDs because Google needs to know where to send the answer. All right, so this has to be on. Send responders a copy of their response. This is when the person submits it. Should they get a copy of whatever they have filled? Unnecessary step. It's not that they will not get the answers later on. We can keep this as off. All right. And again, I'm repeating, if you want, either you can take a screenshot of what I'm doing. By the way, as I said, I'm trying to make things easy for you. Do we all know the shortcut for creating a screenshot? The shortcut for creating a screenshot, which is available in most laptops and on Windows systems, and even on nowadays on desktops, okay, is Windows button, Shift S. Okay, so I don't know if you'll be able to see that right now. So if I do a Windows button, Shift S, I get something. I don't know if it is visible to you because it's coming on my screen. I can select a part of the screen. So I'm just selecting a part of the screen and then I can paste it wherever I want. So this is a screenshot. Okay. Very useful tool when you're attending workshops like this. I have been doing that when I attend workshops, because either I keep a notebook or I do this and I keep pasting them into some document that I've created for the workshop. Anyway, so I send responders a copy of their response is off, recommended to keep it off. Allow response editing, no. Once the child has entered, has submitted, we don't allow them to change their answers. Restrict to users in GD Goenka Public School. This option will come to you only if you are using a G Suite ID. Like for example, for us, we have the G Suite ID, gdgps.gdgoenka.com. Your schools may have a G Suite ID. If you have that, then this question will come to you. This ensures that your quiz is not being sent to anybody and everybody outside the school. All right. And, your child may send it to their tutors to be answered. We don't want that. So to avoid that, we restrict it to our own school. That means through a G Suite ID, I'm controlling at least that much that my own student has access to the quiz, nobody outside. All right. So that is why this is an important option. Limit to one response. Yes, it should be limited to one response. My child should be able to respond to this quiz only once. All right. So yes, we should keep it on. Okay. We don't want them to try it again and again. Because otherwise the child may say, I did it and then I stopped it. By mistake, I submitted. If there are such issues, okay, if there are, let's say, sometimes it does happen, there are internet issues and the child submits it, or even if does not, they submit it and then they realize that whatever they had entered in the quiz is actually not saved because they had internet issues. All right. So you may or may not want this to be restricted. That you will have to see according to conditions that you have. So if I limit it to one response, that means one child will be able to answer the quiz only once, right? Which should be the case, but you see what are the settings that you are looking for. Finally, the presentation. Manage how the form and responses are presented. Show progress bar. So at the bottom, it shows how much you have completed, 20%, 30%, etc. Can keep it on. Shuffle question order. Now, this is something very important. You know that they make those, what we call as the keys. Question number 1 ka B part, question number 2 ka C part, question number 3 ka B part. So they send that to each other. So if I shuffle the question order, so child A is going to get one question in the beginning and child B is going to get some other question in the beginning. All right. So it's a good idea to shuffle the question order. So that means the questions will come in different order to different students. All right. Then confirmation message, any message that you want to put in over here, or so it says your response has been recorded. Anything you can put in over here. So show link to submit another response, because we have said we limit to one response. So this is disabled. All right. This will be enabled only if I disable this. So if I say, okay, the child can give me multiple responses, then I have the show link to submit another response enabled. Okay. Again, not something very important. Since I'm keeping limit to one response, this will obviously remain off. View summary results. When the results come in, we get graphs, we get all kinds of pie charts and charts to show who's done how well. All right. Do we want to share with the students? Normally we don't. We want to see those details, but we don't want everybody to see the averages or the results or the marks of other students. All right. So that is why we normally keep this off. Disable autosave for all respondents. I would keep it on. Okay. But then if I keep this on, it's giving me a warning. Respondents will lose their progress if their browser closes or refreshes. Okay. So if the internet connection is not good, so whatever they do, if in between it refreshes, it'll go. All that will go. So you will have to be careful. If your internet is working well, in any case, so there is no need to keep this on. All right. But no harm to keep it on if the internet connection is good. Now form defaults. This is always there. Collect email addresses by default. Yes. And question defaults setting apply to all new questions. Make questions required by default. Now this is a good thing to keep it on. Okay. If I keep this on, once I do it, every quiz that I create, this will be on. These are defaults for all your forms. Okay. So if I say, put this on, from now on, all my quizzes will have all questions. Whatever be the quiz, it will have the questions required by default. Now, what is this required by default? I will just explain. We need to go back to the question. So these were all the settings which I needed to do. Okay, I'll just go give you a quick this thing of this whole thing. We make this a quiz. We left these on. This was by default. I put it as 1 point. In responses, the main thing that I needed to do is ensure that it is limited to my own organization, and show progress bars. Shuffle question order is what I need to put on. All right. Rest, I have hardly changed anything. I don't think I've really changed anything. And I said make questions required by default. So everything else, you can just accept whatever it is giving to you once you have put on, make this a quiz. All right. Now I go to the questions. So first thing I will explain is make it required by default. This is the required part. All right. This should be on. Why? As I said, sometimes it happens, we don't realize our internet connection is not good. I submit, but it has not been auto-saved. Since it has not been auto-saved, the child will say, ma'am, मैंने answer किया था. But you are not seeing the answer. But बच्चे ने कहा, he has answered. The issue is that his internet connection was not good. So he did not see, it has not been, whatever he has entered has not been accepted. And especially those kids who want to do it quickly, want to show I did it in 10 seconds. Yeah. So for those kids, it's good. I keep it required so that when they submit, it will check, have you entered all the answers or not? So that means it will not move on from here until and unless, or it will not allow the child to submit until and unless the child has answered something over here. Okay. So first thing is this, that we should keep it required. Next thing, we may want to shuffle option order. Shuffle option order. See, I have put a shuffle option order on. Why? So that what I said, jo bache, when they share with each other, when they say, okay, question number 1 ka first part. Okay, that for each child, the options will be shuffled. Somebody will see this as the first option. Somebody will see this as the first option. The second one as the first option. So they will get it in shuffled order. So it is good to keep this as on. All right. And the last thing that I need to do is answer key. I have to give the right answer. So what is the answer? Which of the following is or are valid identifiers? Okay. So where 1 is a valid identifier, this is fine. So the answer key. I click on answer key and I say, okay, where 1 is a valid identifier. None of the others are valid identifiers. All right. So I am done. So I say done. The child will not see it like this. The child will see all the 4 options. I have given the right answer for auto correction to happen. All right. Similarly, I will do the answer key for all the others also. I do the answer key. This is the question. And I should do a required. I go to this, I say shuffle option order. I go to the answer key and I say, okay, give marks, which are the following are a mutable and iterable data type. So a list, and this, as you can see, are multiple choice. So both list and tuple are. Okay. So I do this and I say done. Not tuple actually, sorry. Only list over here is mutable and iterable. Okay, I thought I would just give you an idea where I can select multiple options. Here I can select, only 1 is the right answer. So I do this, then which of the following, the third question, give the code whatever. I'm not seeing the answers now. I may be giving the wrong answers. So I think for this question, this was the answer. Okay, and I say done. I'm not doing that shuffle thing as yet, but you should normally do it just for quickly. So I'm just setting the answers so that when I share this quiz with you, yes, I will ask you to answer this C++ quiz. The Python quiz. This code will generate what? It will display each component on a single line. Done. And I move on. Next question. I go to the answer key. And if I want, okay, this is a very important question. I want 2 points here. I can increase the 2 points over here. So I can make this have 2 points. This was a 9-point thing. You can see the total points over here. All right. So I want that you should get 2 points if you answer this correctly. Which of the following statements is true for binary files? This is true that they can be used to save any data type as such without conversions. All right. So I do this, I move on, I go to the next one. It is required. And answer key. Okay. No, it is all of the above. You can see it is allowing me to select 2. By mistake, I put in such options where 2 were correct. I can select both of them. So for any one of them, the child will get the marks. All right. So it allows the teachers also to make a mistake. All right. So I make it required. Last couple of questions. Before I share this quiz, I say answer key. All right. So here, distinct. Done. And move on. Almost there. Which of the following is a valid condition to check? Required. Is null. No. Answer key. Done. And I go to the last one. Dash is the most common used protocol. All right. Now, what if I had left this without the options? I had written just dash and I expect the child to give the answer. Can I have an autocorrect in that case? Let's just try it out. All right. Instead of this, I say short answer. Okay. And I expect the child to answer over here. So over here, I say required. And I can, where is my answer key? It's not taking in an answer key. It used to take that earlier. Somewhere I'm missing out something. If I do that, all right, the child, if I allow it to take some answers from me, it has to match exactly, even the uppercase and lowercase. Now that can be really troublesome. Okay. Just in case, like the answer is POP, which is post office protocol. If the child wrote post office protocol, the child will not get the answer, even though बेचारा बच्चा पूरा आंसर दे रहा है. हमने POP एक्सपेक्ट किया बच्चे से, उसने पोस्ट ऑफिस प्रोटोकॉल लिखा. बच्चे ने स्मॉल केस में POP लिख दिया, you will not get the marks. So that is why it's not good to have this kind of answers. I do need to make them into multiple choice. All right. And my answers, my options are lost. I'll see if are they there in my quiz. Yes, they are there. I copy again and I put them here. All right. So we are done. We have made the quiz. We've done the settings. Now the last part of it, which is I have to send it to the children. Now, please note, there are 2 ways to send this to the children. Okay. I can send this to the children by either clicking this send. Okay, when I click send, either I enter their email IDs. Definitely, it's going to be tough to enter all their email IDs. Or in fact, there are 3 ways. Or I take this as a link, better to shorten it. I copy this. All right. and I share it with everybody. Now, while you're listening, if you want, you can try and answer this quiz so that we can see this. All right. So I copy it. That's it. I close this. But before I share it with you, I need to change a setting. You are not from GD Goenka Vasant Kunj. So, and this is my organization. So I'm closing that. All right. So now it will allow you to respond to this quiz. Okay. So I'm going back to my quiz, and now I would like to share this with you people so that you can answer. Just answer. I'm obviously not going to I want to send this to everyone, not to just this person. I don't know why I'm getting the entire list. Okay, I will send it to Neelam. Neelam, can you please, it's showing me single names. So I'm Neelam, I'm sending it to you, the quiz. And if you can share it to everybody, just post it in the chat for everybody.
You are
I just sent it. I have sent it as a direct message to you. I can see the chat. Let me see, I can still, because I am sharing maybe that it's showing to direct to people. I am not allowing, it's not allowing me to send it to everyone.
Ma'am, where are you sharing it, ma'am? On WhatsApp?
I have sent it as a chat to you. You want me to send it on WhatsApp?
Yes, ma'am, please.
All right, I'll do that. I'll just. I've sent you the link. Please put it on the chat for everybody.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, today you are all going to answer a Python quiz. Be as varied as you want so that we get some varied results in that. And once we get the answers to this quiz, we will see what it looks like. All right. And also, normally we have multiple teachers who are teaching a particular subject. Let's say there are 3 teachers who are teaching Hindi, 3 teachers, or whatever, 4 teachers who are teaching maths to class 9, and they need to collaborate with each other. All Google Suite apps are collaborative. All right. So if I have to collaborate, that means I share this quiz with my co-teachers. Please be very careful that there are 2 things over here. One is to send and one is to collaborate. All right. Now to collaborate, I made it a little smaller so that you can see these 3 dots. All right. Bigger. Yeah. These 3 dots here. I say add collaborators. All right. Please be careful with this. Don't mix up between send and add collaborators. Go to add collaborators. Just a couple of minutes, Priyanka. So I go to add collaborators. And I give the email ID of my co-teachers over here. Once I do that, let's say I'm sharing it with Raksha, who's my co-teacher for computer science. I share it with her. I make her an editor. I have the option. I want to make her an editor, or I don't have the view and other rights over here. All right. If I'm allowing Raksha to see this quiz, she can make changes in the quiz. I can add expiration. Okay, let her see for one day. After that, she doesn't have access. All right, so I can do that. But I can make her an editor. All right. And as you can see, editors will be able to view and delete form responses also. She'll get the responses also. Okay, and I can then send this quiz to her. Once I've sent this quiz to her, now Raksha has the option, or it is possible for her to edit these questions or at least see them. All right, before we share the quiz with the students. All right. Neela ma'am, can we unmute Priyanka ma'am? She wants to ask a question. I can take some questions at this point. I've
Sure,
got
ma'am.
7 responses. People are shy of answering questions in Python, or maybe they're taking time. It's okay. I'm sorry. So you can please go ahead and answer while I'm answering Priyanka's question.
What's the full name, ma'am? Priyanka?
Just said Priyanka has raised her hand. Okay, I think she's put down her hand. Anybody who wants to ask any question at this time, please raise your hand. Okay, I'll take this time to say to the hi to people who are on YouTube. I'll just check. And also, if you're there on YouTube, please make sure you in the comments, please put your name and the name of your branch. It will be used for taking your attendance. So let me just check if I can see any comments on.
Minka, ma'am, those who have queries, they can unmute themselves now.
All right. So anybody would like to unmute and ask any questions, please go ahead. I think they're all very busy answering Python quiz. I can see 21 responses. Okay, and I can also see that on YouTube, there are people who are writing their names and branches. Any questions? I'm seeing the live chat on YouTube also. So if you have any questions, you can put that in the live chat and I'll be happy to answer. All right. No questions so far. This has 2 meanings. Either I'm too good or I'm too bad. I'm a positive person. I'll think that I'm too good. Okay, so while people are answering, I'll go to responses. Now, one thing you may have noticed over here, I did not, usually you need to add a question over here for name, class, section, all right? For the child who's answering. Yes, we will get the email IDs of people. But so here you should be asking, you should be having a question, let's say that at the beginning, maybe you should have a question which says, add a question and you put a name, ask the child their name, the class and section. All right. So right now I'm not disturbing this. Close this. All right. So we've got some 40 responses. Great. Now this is the kind of responses that you see. That average is 3.14 on 10. I need to really work on your Python skills. And even though I'd shown you all the answers. And is it the afternoon siesta which is troubling us? Then the median is 3 on 10 and the range of points is from 0 to 8. Yes, I have some good students who have got an 8 also. And how many have got correct answers is what it is showing me. So it is this question which is really troubling everybody. Which of the following keyword helps in eliminating? So, you know, this tells me that, okay, SQL, this part of it question, my students haven't understood. I need to retake this part of it. Okay, so the first analysis happens here itself, that I'm able to see these kind of things here itself. All right. And it's showing me not released. That means whoever's answered this, we have not released this, because the minute I release it, then you will be able to see what you did right and what you did wrong. Okay. So thank you to all those people who have enthusiastically answered the quiz. All right. So you can see that where the children are doing well. So my dear students, you have answered about the binary one very nicely, and you've been answering this well. But some places, this is the question where the answer is distinct, where people have not answered very well. So I was able to see a small analysis of my results. But beyond this, if I want to go on to see these results or these responses, I can move on to sheets. And here, actually, if you do not ask me any questions, if there are no questions here, then I will move on to the next section. So we move on to, here it says sheets. So I go to link to a sheet. I create a new spreadsheet. I say create. And it shows me all the answers in the form of a spreadsheet. All right. So I have over here, whoever has your email IDs, when you have submitted your the quiz and the answers which were given by all of you. All right. Now, first thing over here, as you can see, people are still answering. First thing, never ever change this form responses sheet. Even if you are taking a feedback. Yeah, these days we are using forms for doing anything and everything. All right. When I'm taking a feedback from the students for anything, I do not just change this. Do not sort this or whatever. When we register all of you for these workshops also, we do not, I want to know who all are from Srinagar, who all are from Agra, who all are from which place. So we sort you as per your schools. All right. We never do it on this sheet. We always create a duplicate. So I come here and I say duplicate. So I go to a duplicate, I get another copy of this. It says copy of form responses. Now here is when I can do whatever I like with this sheet. All right. Yeah. Anybody needs to say something? So it is here that if I want, I can, I can do any kind of changes that I want. Okay. So the first thing which I wanted to show you, any analysis which I want, one, of course, I have got from the Google form itself. But other than that, there are certain features. Even if you're not working with Google form, you have a sheet and you have some points and things in it. All right. Now you want to analyze it using Google Sheets. What do? I select a column and I say this explore. All right. Very nice feature. I go to explore and it gives me all kinds of analysis. It tells me how many said integer, how many said integer comma string, how many said list, how many, it's giving me all that answer. All right. As a bar chart also. If I was working with only numbers, it would give me a maximum, a minimum, and whatever kind of averages it can find out, it would give me all that. So it's created a pie chart also for me to analyze. All right. So I select a column, and whichever column I have selected, it shows me this analysis for that. I go to this column. It will do the analysis for this column. I think, Neelam ma'am, we need to again mute everybody, or in this column, there are numbers, but since these numbers, Miss Meetu Walia, I request you to please go on mute. Okay.
वाला भी सुनेगा चलना जाएगा.
Just a minute, I'll try and security. I'm changing that. I had removed unmute themselves. All right. So I am, as I can show you that it's giving me a average. It's giving me those kind of minimum is 0, maximum is 9 on 10. So it is giving me some results also over here. All right. And again, this is for something else. This was for A1 to L10. It's done some kind of analysis and showing me that. But for this, it's showing me for the scores. But this is not the only thing, because some part of it, in any case, Google Form is doing it for me. All right. I would like to open another Google Sheet and show you what kind of analysis can I do if I have a set of marks for the students. All right. So that is the next part of my workshop today. So I had some marks with me. All right, some simple marks. I had some students and I have some marks for them. Let me increase the size of this. Okay. Too big. It's still opening again. I hope you can hear me. Even I'm having a little bit of an internet issue right now. I'm trying to make it small again because I can't see the entire thing. Let me open this again, just a second. I'll try and open this again. Yeah. I'll increase the font so that you're able to see this. It's taking time to open. All right, so I hope you can see that there are some students, some marks out of 10, which we have. All right, we all have these kind of marks. All right. Now, what do I want to do? That part we have already seen. If I have a column, I go to any column. And you can see this data menu option on top. You can see over here that it has some column stats. All right. So I go to column stats, I get the same thing, this explore thing. It shows me all those like, how many 7s, how many 5s, and also the range of things, etc. So I can see some statistics. Fine. But more interestingly is when I go to this data and I go to just a second. I do conditional formatting. All right. Just a second. All right. I have this range of data and I go to conditional formatting. And here, can you see this color scale on the right side? Go to color scale. You can already see it. For the minimum value, I want a color of pink. We like red when the child is not doing well. And for the maximum value, I want a green. All right. Now, can you see over here that the child with the minimum value is coming as pinks and the child with the highest value is coming as green? What has happened over here is this is called conditional formatting. It has formatted these cells based on the values. So the child with the lowest is coming as pink. Then there is a range with a 5, with a 4 is darker, it's moving from pink to green. So it's got a different shade of pink. Then 5 is becoming a pinkish green, and 6 is now more towards green, etc. 7 is more green, and 8 is pretty green, and 9 is very green. All right. So like this, you can see that it is taking a range. I can set these colors to look a little better, and I can actually select all of them also and do the same thing. I don't like this color range. I delete it. The minute I selected it, I got this option on the right side. I'll do this again once more, all right, so that you can see once more what I'm doing. Okay, so I had these. I selected a column. I went to format and I went to conditional formatting. This is all in Google Sheets. Yes, we have it in Excel also. We do have this range in Excel. Of course, it looks a bit different. You'll have to look for it in Excel. These options are available in Excel also. If you have Google Sheets, this is how we go about it. All right. So I related it to Google Sheets because we are getting scores in our through our quiz. Once I get this, I come to color scale over here. I go to color scale, and in color scale, I can set a color scheme, which I like. So let's say a minimum value, or I can set a value. Okay, if I have a value of 3, then what do? I want, this time I'll do a little better. I'll go to almost a red. Okay. And if the value midpoint, I'm not saying anything. And if which is the max value, I pick up a number and I say if it is 9, then I want the color to be, instead of this, let me go to blue, because the pink and this thing was looking pretty obnoxious. Okay, let me change the color here also to something better. This may be still okay, and the blue can be a lighter blue. All right, so this is how it looks. All right, I did this for maths. I wanted to extend it to all of them. This was from B2, which is this cell B2, to B13. I will change this to E13, or I could have selected the entire thing and then done it. And now I say done. And as you can see, I can see it for the entire range. So one look at it, the first thing I can see is, hello, Isha needs a lot of attention. I need to call her parents and I can need to tell her that, beta, you're not doing well in all your subjects. All right. So the first thing, so the minute I look at this, I didn't have to look at the numbers. As it is, our eyes are all gone. And so we are half blind now with thanks to all our computers. So those numbers start swimming in front of our eyes, but the colors make a lot of meaning. All right. So I see this Isha is all red right now. So I need to call her parents and tell them that she needs to work harder. And Karthik is doing well. So I can congratulate him in class and I can say, great work, Karthik and Mayank, you're doing well. All right. So you can see this kind of analysis right in front of your eyes just by changing the colors. Just a couple of things which I wanted to show you over here. One was this explore option. Okay, here I can again do an explore. I have not selected anything right now. You can see it is automatically showing me these graphs. It's showing me how everybody is doing. All right. And I can see that, okay, I found that Mayank and Karthik were doing well. That's where their graphs are going on top. But I missed out Sarthak. Sarthak is also not too bad. All right. So Sarthak is also doing quite fine. We can see it over here. And similarly, we have this graph over here. I need to increase its size. I can insert this as a chart over here. I'm presenting it to my principal to impress her. I can do some such things. See, I've done this analysis, ma'am. Okay. And, or I can see it in full size, view full size. I can see that, okay, how are my children doing? I can see very easily that this child who is red or English, here it's also showing me a subject-wise analysis. It's showing me that the scores in English over here are not too great. And yellow is coming right on top. So that means signs, they're doing pretty fine. So if I, as a principal or a head or an HOD or a whatever, I'm seeing this, I know that I need to, what to say to which teacher. All right. So you decide you want to show these graphs to your higher ups or not. Very well. Then, so this, it's showing me all these kind of crazy graphs that I can try and analyze the results from. Right? So again, any questions, anything you want me to repeat? Because now we will move on to the last section of our workshop today. I don't know if they can mute themselves.
Yes, ma'am, they can.
Sorry, unmute themselves.
They
So-
can unmute, ma'am.
Okay. Any questions? Anything that you want me to explain? Anything differently which I need to tell? Neela ma'am, next time you need to send them coffee if you're going to have a workshop from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. All right. Any questions in the chat? Could you please explain color chat, color range? Afreen, thank you so much. Makes me feel better when there are questions. All right, so let's undo the colors. I'm undoing the colors. I'm trying to. All right. All right, so I'm undoing. I have a plain chart with no colors in it. So I select my data. All right. So this is how you see your Google Sheet. In any case, after that, I go to format and I go to conditional formatting. All right. Can be used for anything, for marks, for any kind of scoring or any kind of numbers which you have. You can do that. Okay. How many students in which section, which class, whatever you want to do any kind of analysis, you can do this conditional formatting there, right? So what we did is we went to color scale. All right. The single color is, let's say if I had said from B2 to E13, if a cell has the number, we can even do this. If a number, anybody who's got that less than, let's say 3, then give them a red color. So immediately it makes this as 2. Then I change this. I say, okay, anybody who's got less than 4 actually should get red. So I can see immediately the reds. Okay, so if you have a white sheet in which you have all the marks, you want to mark out the children who are failing, put that. I'll repeat that. Format, conditional formatting, and I add another rule. I can add a rule over here, select everything. Then you select this, which was format cells if they are less than. Okay, so I said less than whatever value, and then give it a color and say done. All right. So I can say, okay, all those, let's say who are greater than, so all those who are greater than or greater than equal to, also I can use greater than or equal to 8. Done. So you can see the children who are doing well, who have got 8 or 9. I can see that. And I can see those who have got a red. So this was one part of it. And the color scale is when I'm getting an entire range of colors, is when I do this. I go to format. I'm again and again repeating the steps so that you can see the entire thing. Conditional formatting. I go to, the color range, the color scale. Once I get the color scale, I can either give the particular values which I want, which is the minimum value, or and the maximum value, and in between it takes it on its own. I'll go with the minimum and the maximum. The minimum being 2 over here is going to get, let's say, let's have some different colors this time with some magenta color. And the maximum value, I want it to be yellow. God. Looking like mango raspberry ice cream. So I have these colors right now. And as you can see, the yellow was good. So I can see immediately. My eyes go straight away to Karthik. All right, Karthik has done well. He's got mostly yellow. Okay, he's got a golden child for me. So is Mayank. And this child, Isha, I need to work with. All right, so this is what we do for conditional formatting. Right? So can we move on to the last part, which should be the most fun part, which is Kahoot? Right? Any questions? Any further questions? Neela ma'am, any questions in the chat? Somehow I'm not able to see that.
No, ma'am.
All right. So I'm moving on to Kahoot now. I'll close some of these quizzes. In the WhatsApp image so that I can open Kahoot. So the last part is Kahoot. I'm sure again, many of you would have already used Kahoot. All right. So now when I go to Kahoot, just click Kahoot on Explorer. It says Kahoot it. All right. I can go to Kahoot. It's a game, as they say. Now this is for playing Kahoot. All right. This is where your child, your students will go. They will enter the game pin and enter and start playing the game. All right. So when I play a game with you, then I will ask you to go here. So what do? I go to this one where I go learning games, etc. Or you could even go to login. You can say Kahoot login. So I say Kahoot login, and here I go. The first thing it says, please buy. Why do I need to buy? So that I get all the options. But I don't want to buy. We will just go with the free part of it. We go to login. I need to log in to be able to use Kahoot as a teacher. Now here, either you use a username and password, or you can continue with Google. All right. I suggest you can go with continue with Google. All right. The minute you say that, it will still ask you. It will ask you for which ID you're going to work with and what password you have for that. The thing is, once you do this, if you are already logged in into the way I am logged in into my ID right now, the minute I click on this continue with Google, it'll check with me which ID are you talking about. I will say this particular ID. It'll log in automatically. Otherwise, I can enter a login over here. And if I don't have an account, I sign up over here. All right. Easy steps. That's why I'm not going to demonstrate those steps, but I will go back, show you where I went. I will say login right on top over here on the top right corner. I say login, and this window opens for me. So I can sign up. All right, I can sign up. You can say continue with Google also. By default, it will take whichever login ID you are using right now with that, or I can enter the username over here. So first time, of course, I need to do a sign up, or I say continue with Google, it will still ask you for a password. And it will ask you to verify that password or the login through your email. So we just go to continue with Google here. You will have to create your IDs. It's asking me which ID. So I say this one. Okay, it's still asking me for, no, it's not. See, that is what, because I had done it through Google, it already has my password. You may not want to do it in school, but at home, where you're expected to make all your worksheets, who gets time in school. So at home, in your own laptops, in your personal laptops, you can easily go through Google. All right. So I already have this. Now, here is where I have to, so this is the screen. I somehow don't like their screen because they have too much pulled in and can be a bit confusing. But this right top corner is where I can create Kahoots. Now, what are these Kahoots? How do I get a quick poll of how many of you have used Kahoots and how many have not? Difficult to do it with so many people over here, but I am sure many of you have already used Kahoot. It's a very simple tool. But let's say this is for those people who haven't. So I just say create over here. I can straight away start creating a Kahoot. It has the option of course also, but I don't know how many options will really be available since we don't have a paid version of it. Anything which has paid in it will appear like this with this star over here. All right. So to be able to access those kind of things, you will, the minute you see a star, you know you can't use that unless you pay. So I go to Kahoot. All right. And it asks me, do you want a template or do you want a blank canvas? Again, you can see the star over here, AI everywhere. So here, if I want the AI to automatically generate questions for me, then I need to pay Kahoot and I need a paid version of Kahoot. But if I want to create a quiz of my own, then I can simply go to a blank canvas, and there are some few templates which are available, which I can use. So a bit kiddish over here, but trust me, I'm teaching class 11 and 12. Even they sometimes at the end of the thing, when I say, okay, now I'm going to ask you some questions, they say, ma'am, let's do it in a Kahoot form. And I'm like, please grow up. But everybody loves Kahoot, all right? So you can use any of these templates. I find them very childish. So I'm going to go to a blank, which is also not bad. And here also I can use some of these backgrounds, all right? So you can make it look a little stylish by using some of these backgrounds. So I can change the background. Now here, what is happening is, let's say I want to use this Kahoot. This Kahoot can be used in two ways. I can either, like, just do a recap kind of thing where I've taught something and now I want to check how well my students have learned. I want the learning outcomes. I want to see that. Have I achieved the learning outcomes? If that is what I want, I can just make a quiz out of it. Or what I could be doing is I could be explaining some concept and then asking a question immediately. All right. So I can insert over here some media. I could show some YouTube video. I could show some image, or I could do some such thing. And as you can see, it will allow me to search over here. So let's say I'm teaching time over here, and I can say, I show this and I ask some question over here. So I can ask this question. I can say, does any of these watches show 10 a.m. or whatever, 10 o'clock? I don't see any of them. Or that we can see the time in most of them, but whatever, I can only see the time in two of them, and that too half partially, but whatever in this. So I can ask a question over here. Now, what are the question types which I have? Now, this is a question which can be answered as a yes or a no. All right. So here I can select this. Do I want a quiz? Do I want a true or false? Do I want the child to type an answer? But again, you can see that green star here in this type answer, slider and puzzle, not available for free. What is available for me for free is just quiz and true or false. All right. Initially, many of these options were available for free, but now only I'm left with very few, which is just quiz and true or false. Okay. So I need to frame my questions in such a way that they can fill in any of these. So I could say true or false. So I could put it as one of these watches shows the time 10 o'clock. So I have a true or a false. I select the answer. So I want to select false. I select the answer over here. So this, while I'm creating my slide, I can do that. Now here further, I have the option of adding a question or adding a slide. I can even add a slide. When I add a slide, you can see almost everything is paid. I have a classic book. I can go to classic. I can type a title over here, time, all right, and I can add something over here. I can go to Unsplash. I can search for 10 a.m. Let's see if we get something. You're not getting a 10 a.m. on a watch. I asked too difficult a question from it. My God, this person is looking pareshan with a 10 a.m. So I could ask for something else. Let's say I'm teaching the water cycle. So here I can see some related, maybe I'm teaching them about precipitation. And here again, you can see a lot of stars. You will hardly find any pictures which are not starred over here. It really, really needs you to start buying things. I can go to Unsplash. Here I can pick up something and put that. So when I'm talking about, let's say I'm talking about rivers, so I can use some such thing. All right, and this is something maybe like looking like a glacier or a whatever, and I could be teaching this thing, but it'll be quite a challenge to get your pictures over here. So what I'm trying to show over here is that you can have something which you are showing over here. So glaciers. So I can explain over here, glaciers are frozen rivers created in cold conditions. I'm a very bad social science teacher, so you might find this not so nice. All right, so the words maybe not be correct. I'm a computer science person. Anyway, so we have this. So I could type something over here. So while the child is looking at it, so I can use this in my classroom. In one slide, they see some information, and then I ask a question. I ask them a question after this. So I can add a question over here. And then it's giving me the options. What kind of question do I want? I want a quiz or a true or false. These are the only options which are available for free over here. Now here you will see there is a question bank. Okay. Do I get questions for free? Yes. I can ask some questions. I can try and find some questions. But this is search from millions of questions in community created and your own Kahoots. I don't have any Kahoots over here, but if you have something on river or river, so you have some questions already which are available. Good. So we have, what is the name of the most sacred river in India? So I say add there. So you can see some questions which are already there. Can we request everybody to please be on mute? It's creating disturbance here. Can we... Neela ma'am, can we mute everyone?
Mute.
Yeah, please. There is a lot of disturbance.
Okay.
Muted. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible? Can you hear me?
You are audible.
Okay. All right. So this question got added automatically. As you can see, they already have an image and which river. So you can add. So this will help you in adding questions automatically. So yes, definitely searching for those questions will be quite something, but you can, if maybe get some questions right from here. All right. So this is how we can go about building this quiz. Fine. And also I can specify how much time to give for this quiz and points, whether we give a standard or this is an important question, I want double points, or there are no points for answering this, I can fix that. And whether the child can select only one answer or multiple is again not possible for us, only single select is allowed for us. All right. So this will allow me to create quizzes quite easily. Just before coming here, I just had some 15 minutes before I got home to take this workshop, and I quickly created a quiz for you to see how much we have learned today. All right, very simple quiz just for you to get the idea of how Kahoot works. It's like a game. So you will get scores, you will get to know who's coming in top, are you the best, are you, so it awards you if you're doing well, those kind of, so it gets quite exciting for the children. All right, so so once we are done with this, I need to save the quiz. I have to give the answer. There's answers already selected over here. Once I've created my quiz, I say save. I give the name of this quiz, so it's quite a random one, but I can say again rivers and say continue. I can immediately start this Kahoot. So I can host a live Kahoot right now. I can share with other people. All right, so I can say done over here, or I can do a launcher preview to see how does my Kahoot, what does my Kahoot look like. All right, so you can try out these options. I say done here. All right, these are the quizzes, these are the Kahoots which I have created. All the Kahoots which you create go into the library. All right, on the left hand side in this place, you will always see the library, and all your Kahoots will be there in the library. So you can see another Kahoot which I created just for this workshop only, where the quizzes, the questions are there, ordering and all that. So like, this was one question where I had given these options. This is a simple one, a true or false will come like this. Now here, I am explaining something. So I have to explain a concept. I created a slide. This is the slide. I created a slide. I explained something over here. Then I asked a question based on which of these numbers are in ascending order. So again, and of course, I marked the answers for each one of them. And then once I am done, I want to share this with my students so I can assign them. Now here again, you can see two options. One is start. So this is start a live Kahoot. So while I'm having this in my classroom, I can start a live Kahoot where I'm presenting it. All right. Or when I'm assigning it, I'm giving it as homework to my students, then I assign it. So when I say assign, I have to give a time. So I say, okay, this has to be, players should complete it before I give them some time. Okay, they must complete it by whatever this is, Sunday, or no, Sunday is 24th. No, it is 23rd. So they must, okay, by the time they come on Monday, They should have completed it. So 12 p.m. right in the night, or I can say 7 p.m. They better complete this. The question timer, do I want the questions to be timed? Okay, because there was some seconds which we had given for each question. And then randomize answer order. Do I want to randomize it? I can randomize the answer order. And do I give nicknames to them? And player limit, how many players can play this? Okay, again here, it's limited to 10 people. I cannot, if I need more players, I need to upgrade. Okay, so maybe you could assign it again and again to some of your students. So you can say roll number 1 to 10, or if we are doing it in the classroom, it's good fun to do it through the start option. All right, so I can do this. I say create, and I copy the URL and I share it with them, or I copy the game pin. So if you remember, this game pin is what we see if we normally go to Kahoot without logging in. All right. So at that time, I can use this game pin and I will see who all have done how well. This is also other ways to share. I can share it on Google Classroom. All right. I can go to Google Classroom and this link will be shared with my students. All right. So there are various ways in which I can, or through Teams or whatever else way I want to use to share my quiz. All right. So once I've shared my quiz, my students can attempt it to get an idea of what it is like when they are attempting it. I can go to my library and let's have all of you. This I've called it Techie Bites for my educators. So I want to assign it to all of you, but it'll be limited to 10 people. So whoever are the first 10 to try it can do it. I say create. All right. And this is the game pin. So those of you who would like to try it can use this game pin. Leela ma'am, again, I'm sharing it with you, those who have wished to use this game pin.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ji.
Again, what do they need to do? They have to go to Kahoot. All right. I can again show the steps. I go to Kahoot. And use this first option of Kahoot it. All right. You go to Kahoot and you enter the pin. I don't want to be one of the 10 people who try it. So I enter the pin over here. So if I enter the pin here, I paste it and I say enter, I will get that quiz. Okay. And let's see if people are answering that. So you can see the pin also at 081444805. 081444805. You can try this Kahoot right now. And how do I see the results? I don't see any players who have taken it as yet. Did I share? Yeah. It's not showing me any players. Nobody ready for playing a game as yet? Is anybody playing the game right now? Anybody trying out the game? We can take any questions till then. And if I use the start option, since normally in our classes, we have More than 10 students? This is the classic mode. So when I give this code, my students will see this code. The students are supposed to enter this code and start playing the code. All right, and we will start seeing over here. So if some of you could join in, and you can use this code. You can use this code, or you can scan this also and start. Okay, so yeah, Jyoti is here. So we have some people already here.
Ma'am, they're saying that already reached the limit.
So that would be, so some people are already logged in because it will only
They must
10.
be, they are, I think they are YouTube people.
So I say start. So this is the first question, and they have to start answering. All right, so I also can start answering over here. So I'm getting 13 seconds. So is it possible to autocorrect quizzes created using also? I say yes, true. Not taking my answer. Okay. So seven have done it correctly and 6 have got it wrong. Next. So Sanchita answered it most quickly, and obviously she got the highest points. So we move on. Next answer. We can send the Google Form quiz via Google Classroom using the second send button by sharing a link, all of the above. Okay, I can see quickly people are answering. All right, so again, you can see how many have chosen which option. All right, and 7 of them got it correct, that it is all of the above. So now this time, what happened to the scores? So ADT has come up. All right, so next one. Only if I am part of an organization, I can use a Google form. Is that true or false? Or can anybody use it? All right, so false, definitely anybody who has a Google account can create a form. You don't just have to be part of an organization. As a personal level also, we can create Google Forms. All right. All right, so next is, so again, ADT is leading. So they also give you these kind of things. So they encourage the children. Okay, Manu, you're doing great. You've come up 3 levels. So we go next. And again, I think this is the 4th question. The explore option in Google Sheets. Question. And Google Sheets can be used too. All right, so here, this question. There were different answers coming in here. So basically, Google Sheets, the explore option in Google Sheets can be used only to analyze the data in a Google Sheet. All right, not for filling content and doing any other things. So this is it. So I go to next. And ADT is my favorite student, is getting all the answers correct. Next. Kahoot is free for all teachers and students. Basic version of Kahoot we are talking about. All right. So definitely it is free for all teachers and students. It's just they are definitely many of the features are not free, but basic Kahoot is free for everybody. This part of it we've created free. I've not used any licensed version or any, sorry, I mean to say any paid version of it. So I can use it for free. The basic quizzes I can make it and free. So that's it. And I go to next. And yes, it irritates me with all those popping up things. So Gurneet, yay, you come up well. Sanchita is at second and ADT. So, you know, these kind of things, all said and done, whatever be the level, all kids love it, right? So there is no way our children will not be engaged using this kind of a thing, right? Thank you for those who participated in the quiz. Need to close this. All right. So this was what I had to talk about Kahoot, something which I think it is good that you try and explore as much as possible. Yes, one thing, you have Discover. You can pick up, you can find Kahoots which are already available. You can search for Kahoots. There is a marketplace. People can sell their Kahoots. You can create Kahoots and sell, right? If you find this exciting, go ahead, please create Kahoots and put it up in the marketplace, and you will be able to sell your Kahoots and earn money also through your worksheets. All right. And yes, you can use this. I'm looking for Kahoots or for courses, and I can find some Kahoots based on different subjects. Normally, I've seen that science and social studies are different, especially in foreign countries. Maths goes well. I can try for maths-based Kahoots. You can see there are some Kahoots which are already available. You can reuse these Kahoots. All right, you can go to whatever, but there are access passes over here. And initially, if you had seen in the home, I have one access pass. I have one available to me. The more Kahoots I submit, the more passes I will be able to get. So that's it for today. What I need is that all of you need to tell me what should I be covering in the next session. All right. So that I do things which are really, really useful for you. Anything that you can think of which you would want me to cover in my next session. Because here we have a huge variety of teachers. Some of them may have found this very easy, very simple. They already know about it. For some people, they may not have used these things at all. All right. So may have found it useful, or for some people, it may have been too quick for them. All right. So I need to get a feedback as to what we should be covering in our next Kahoots, or sorry, next sessions. So any feedbacks for that are most welcome. So some people have said that they're unable to join on Zoom because on Zoom we had a limit of 500 people. And so this was beyond 500, and that is why. So, okay, I'm getting some answers here, which was something related to AI as latest. Yeah, so one of my options, I would be talking about using ChatGPT definitely, or generative AI. All right. One of the this thing. So I didn't want to begin with that because we wanted to start with something very simple. Something is more like an advanced thing of what you people already basically know. We will be, maybe I could cover that in the next one. Another option that I was thinking of was using Prezi. We all know how to work with Google Slides, with presentations, with PPTs that we create in Microsoft Office. But Prezi can look pretty different. Okay, it makes And also in Prezi, also just like Canva, Prezi is also giving you different kind of templates that you can work with. English language improvement in classroom. This is a feedback for Neelam ma'am. You would have an English teacher taking it up. As an IT training, I'm talking about. If you can tell me what we can do in our next IT training. Any? So maybe I could cover some apps which are related to English language. That I could do. Just like we have Kahoot, we have quizzes. That is another option that we can look at. We can look at Google Classroom. And of course, other tools which are related to AI. Or if you have any option, any requests, you can then pass them on to Neelam ma'am.
They are writing in chat box also, ma'am.
Yeah.
Chat box also. Result preparation and analysis.
A chatbot.
Chat box.
Okay.
Writing there also.
I can see only two over here, which is English language. Okay, let me. Apps for teaching primary section. A session on AI will be really helpful. Okay, thank you. Most welcome. Okay, let me stop sharing first of all. So that I'm in the normal screen. Thank you. So anything else or any questions from anybody? Okay, I got some Hindi ke liye sujav. Do we? Okay, I can keep that in mind. Again, some tools which are related for Hindi teachers, we can do that. We could even do a session on tools related for different subjects. IT tools for different subjects. We can do that. So I think most people have requested for AI. So maybe in the next session, we can cover AI. Right? So that's it for today, Neelam ma'am.
We
Anything
can
else?
take queries, ma'am. Questions.
Yeah, any queries, any questions which anybody would like to ask, anything that you want me to explain?
Yes, they can unmute themselves and they can ask questions.
Yeah, they can ask questions. I'm also looking at the chat. So if anybody has any questions. So Mr. Anish Kumar, you've written that you are unable to join. Yes, because there was a limit of how many members could join on Zoom. That is why we did this live streaming on YouTube. And yes, I am going through the chat so that if you ask anything, I can answer that. So anybody would like to unmute themselves and ask any questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm sure, friends, you found it very interesting.
No.
Yes, ma'am, very interesting and able to understand each and everything.
Yes, now that you have understood, we expect you to use these processes in the classroom situation.
Sure, ma'am, sure.
right? And then give your feedback to us, telling us how it has helped you in enhancing learning of the students and also saving on your efforts also. See, it's both ways. Teachers and students both get the advantage of it. But we want to see the feedback. We'll be writing to the schools and ask how many of you are really using. Any question further? So,
See the
Menika,
option which we gave you of taking a picture and then putting it on Google Doc. Our English teachers are using it currently for making question papers which are related to comprehension. You could be picking up an article from the newspaper. Otherwise, you would have to type the entire thing, right? So here they take a picture from an article from the newspaper and just take a picture, transfer it into Google Doc. It automatically gets the entire text for you. So how you use whatever you're learning is up to you. The more innovative you are, the better, it'll make your things more easy.
thank you so much, Menika ji. It was a very interesting session and a very good learning experience for all of us. And we look forward to another session of yours, and we have already shortlisted the topics. One is AI. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am. We will be working on AI next time. Yeah. I
And
know
also you
everybody
said
is very interested.
subject-wise tools.
Yeah,
You also said
subject-wise apps.
subject-wise tools.
Yeah, that will be another session which we can do, where we can do some apps for each subject.
Right, ma'am. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. And thanks all the participants for being here. And I'm sure you're going to use it. Thank you.